Hello, I'm Tom Williams of the same. I'm joined by Association President candidate Dominic Nolan. Hi there, Dom. Can you tell me a bit more about you?
About me?
Yeah.
Well, I am a fourth year. I study Econ and IR. I'm from Motherwell in Scotland, which is a bit near Glasgow. And I have never ever held an association position before. Not sat in SRC meetings and not sat in SSC meetings. But I believe I have great experience outside of the union, which gives me both the experience to implement real change to the union, and as well as providing a fresh outsider's perspective on how I can make the union better and reform it to make it more open and accountable to students.
Okay. Now, obviously, I think the first thing that we need to address is that you are a Conservative councillor for the local council.
Yes, for St Andrews.
For St Andrews, yes. And as a council member, you've had to abstain on issues pertaining to university in the past, I believe.
No, I've not.
You've not?
No.
Well, forgive me for that. But do you not see that there might be a conflict of interest here?
Yes, and that's something that people have asked me at hustings in the past. And the good news is that I absolutely cannot have conflict of interest. Legally, it just can't happen. I just have to sign a code of conduct when I got this job, which clearly sets out when I would have to withdraw from meetings, what I can and cannot comment on. For example, I cannot comment on live planning applications. And in the past, so here's an example of one instance where I had not withdrawn from a meeting, but if I were to win the election this week, I would in future. So recently, the Students' Union had to apply for planning permission to alter the ductwork on the outside. It was built without proper planning permission, so they had to apply to get proper camouflaging on it. So that was a planning application on the Students' Union. In future, I would withdraw from that if I were to win here. So if I were to win this, I would in fact be giving up some of my responsibilities to focus on the Students' Union.
So you would be giving up some of your responsibilities to your constituents to focus on the Students' Association, is that clear?
Well, I'd be giving up the Students' Union is directly, I'd be working for the Students' Union in this capacity as President of the Students' Union, and so I would not do it in very, very particular circumstances, mostly around planning in the future.
Okay. So it's just very particular issues you feel that you would say.
And you can look up the Code of Conduct online if you want to.
So it's not legally, it's just generally speaking. Okay. Now, obviously you said you haven't held an SRC, SSE position before, you haven't even been to a meeting. So what makes you qualified? What is this outside experience that makes you suitable to be Association President?
Well, I think a lot of people would agree what's the biggest issue facing St Andrews is housing.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of experience in housing through being a town councillor. For example, the new halls that are being built, Powell and Whitehorn halls, I provide planning permission for those. HMOs are always a big issue in St Andrews. I'm on the committee which deals with all new HMO applications in the town and throughout Fife. So I see them all. I get to approve them both at licensing and then again at planning. And also the HMO ban's coming up for review. That's coming up in the next few months. Every year we ask presidential candidates what will you do with the HMO ban. They always say, oh yes, I'll always get it done. I can actually do that. The first person has to say, yes, I will fight it in the HMO ban. And I'm very confident that will happen.
Okay.
But it's not just housing, so there's community relations as well. I already do one job which the President does, which is go along to the community council meetings. And I feel like I am the youngest councillor in Fife. I am the first student I'm aware of to have done this role. And so I feel I've advanced town and government relations considerably as well.
Okay. Now we can jump back to community relations in a bit, but aside, you're going to vote against the HMO ban either way. What more can you do on affordable accommodation?
Affordable accommodation? Well, of course, I'm not going to send you a promise that we'll have 4 new halls next year and they'll all be £500 a year. No, that's not going to happen. The main, what the role of the Students' President would be is, of course, to lobby for students' and best interests. And we have these new halls that are being built, Powell and Whitehorn, and they're too expensive. And with Albany being closed next year, we're losing our cheapest option. Student loans will no longer, in the vast majority of circumstances, be able to meet people's hall fees. And I think the main problem with the new halls is that they don't have a large enough variety of room types. It's mostly based on single rooms with ensuite bathrooms and catered We used to have that great variety of shared rooms, shared bathrooms, non-catered, self-catered.
Let's move on to quite a key point in your manifesto, which is association accountability. Is this something that comes naturally to you, being someone on the outside looking in currently?
Yes, I would say so. So I think it's not an unfair statement to say that the union currently is a bit of a bubble. It's a bubble within the bubble that is St Andrews. And so from this outside perspective, I can see where there is accountability failings. And so in my manifesto, I talk a lot about the improvements to petitions, an improved recall system, and live streaming of future meetings to improve transparency.
Now, 3 of those I think might be relatively attainable, but do you expect any pushback from other SABs introducing recall elections?
Well, we currently have a limited recall system in place, but yes, I suppose the people who are within that bubble which I described would have pushback, but I think any SAB worth their salt would think, yes, I am willing to stand up and be accountable to the students.
Yeah. Just to go back to the fact that you are a Conservative councillor, what is your opinion on the Students' Association being a political body?
Being a political body? Well, I don't think all candidates running for election have their own political views. It's just I've had to tack mine onto the party, but we're all partisan in some way, and I'm sure we would all be professional enough not let any partisan shine through and not let that influence our activities. But there is a role, of course, for the Students' Association in political matters, and I was part of the reason that I came forward with my plan for the petition system, which is laid out in my manifesto, is what I thought was the good work that Lewis Wood did last semester with his Brexit survey. That was a very clear political statement, but what he did was he went out and he asked what the students wanted. And I would seek to do that in the future as well. I'm here to stand for what the students want.
So you were talking about consolidating petitions to an online portal, yeah?
Yes.
Perfect.
Because we've got, they had the recent joint councils meeting on staff strikes, and they presented a petition there on that. But the petitions that are put forward nowadays are from like change.org, and there's lots of websites like that. And they're not well advertised to the whole student body. It's about people sharing it in their Facebook feed. Not everyone's going to see it. And of course they all need to then be verified, all the names on it, because you see it has to be students are what we're concerned about. So the petition system I want to set up would be for just students, so it's easily verifiable, and then it will be all live petitions will be advertised to the whole student body via the weekly SAB email. And then you can look at that and you can say, oh, there's one here, I like that, I don't quite like that, maybe I'll run a counter petition to that. Okay. So it's about making it really easy for students to let student councils know what it is they want.
Now, that's a subject you're obviously very passionate about. Let's move back to a subject that you're also very passionate about, which is community relations. Now, you've said in your manifesto that you're going to heal community relations, town and gown. So, with that, I will ask you, what is wrong with community relations at the moment, and what will you improve upon?
Okay, well, I think we can't talk about community relations without talking about the HMO ban. And of course, I've been lobbied from all sides on the HMO ban. I've worked closely alongside Lewis Woods, John Nolan, housing officer, on this, but also there's the Community Council representing the town, Centre's Housing Group, Cesara, the residents associations. And from both sides, what I hear is it's a matter of students v residents, and you hear some strange arguments about the town being taken over by students. I think that's nonsense. We all know that the university offers so much to this town, but also I think it's clear that the current HMO ban has been, well, a dreadful policy. And we've got the report coming forward for council soon. The report clearly states that yes, what we implemented about 5-6 years ago was not a good policy, so we're going to put forward. They have a recommendation for something else. I think it's a good policy, it's a vast improvement on what we have currently, but I think we can do better and go for blankets, no ban whatsoever. And in advancing community relations, I think that I've shown that St Andrews students can offer something to all levels of this town. have to stick to the student, we can interact with the community, and students have done that with the, well, this community relations also, of course, and they did great things on the St Andrew's Day Parade we had at the end of last year.
Okay. Out of all your manifesto, what would you say is your key policy? What would you be happiest if you achieved in your year-long tenure?
Well, there are things that the President very clearly can do and changes they can make, and the rest of it is what they do is what they lobby to represent student voice. So housing is something that I am best placed to try and solve the housing crisis, but of course, as I said, I can't just build a hall in a year. But association accountability, the reform, those three areas I've identified in my manifesto, that's something I can do and can be done in a year.
Okay, perfect. Now, going back to that, association accountability and stuff like that, is that your main criticism of the tenure of Lewis Wood this year, or would it be something else?
No, I would say primarily it is accountability, and it's that idea that the union is sort of inclusive, like up here, a few floors up, and we're not really, students don't really know what happens in here. I don't think that's an unfair statement to say.
Okay.
So we have to, with these reforms I want to make, I think students will feel that they have more influence over the joint councils, and so they would care more and be more willing to engage.
So this is
just
your
that
way
empathy.
of increasing student participation then?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, St Andrews does well in student turnout for elections, the best in the country, but still we only hit around 40% in a good year, and the past couple of years is dipped below that. So it's still nothing to write home about.
Now, this year we've actually got 5 candidates running for the position of association president. This is more than I've seen in my time here. Now, what sets you apart from the other 4?
Well, that outsider perspective for one. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We have got other candidates who aren't associated.
I'm not sure how I would be aside from Tom Groves. I'll come back to that now, but he's a bit unique. So there's that outsider perspective, and there is this real experience I have outside the university. And it's not just on housing, I've got great ideas for the environment, widening access, alumni, and yeah, so I think I have an insight for how the university interacts, how I interact with the university through working with the university. I have regular meetings with them about many issues such as the Eden campus, speaking to them about HMOs, of course, work with the university, the union, and yeah, so that real experience I can bring. That's outside perspective, which means I think I can implement some real changes here.
Now, you mentioned widening access. Can you explain what your manifesto policies are on that? Okay,
widening access. So we all know that St Andrews has a bit of a reputation, not a very good one, in this area.
Yes.
And that is, we do not have a lot of state-educated pupils coming here. That's the second lowest in the country, behind only Oxford. And so to encourage getting people from other backgrounds who would not traditionally think of coming to university, get more state-schooled pupils in here. My manifesto idea, the main one under widening access, is to look at and to explore if we have funding availability for disadvantaged children who will have categories like, do they receive EMA, have their parents ever been to university, and yeah, so state-schooled, and if we can subsidise their travel to come to open days and the like. And that's not only making it easier for them to get here, that's saying that not only are you welcome in St Andrews, but that we are willing to put the effort in to make you come here. Not only are you welcome, we actively want you to come here.
Now, in your manifesto, you specifically mentioned Dundee. Are you talking about doing this for Scotland-wide, or?
Yes, well, of course, some projects that the university currently run are not just within our corridor 5 or indeed 5. So there is the ARC project, which operates in the Highlands, Argyll and Bute, Orkney, Shetland, Western Isles. So it's not unreasonable to say that we can do stuff throughout Scotland. But then there's the REACH programme, which is only within 5, and Dundee is closer to St Andrews than other parts of 5, so why can't we head out there?
I think the main criticism of expanding to Dundee is that students typically, I mean, not all students, but some typically want to get further away from just being down the road. such as Dundee. Would you agree with that sentiment? Or?
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah.
So I understand that it's a big. It's not just about education. It's a big part of growing up as a person if you get to move out of university. But I think most importantly, people want to go to the best university in Scotland. So like the education is the most important thing, and St Andrews has got so much to offer in that respect.
Now, just wrapping up, you mentioned environmental policies as well. Can you discuss what your plans are on that front?
Okay, so environment has always been something very important to me. Some of my favourite memories growing up were just watching some David Attenborough programs with my dad. And once again, bringing that real experience, I sit on the Sands Partnership Board, which looks after our town's world-renowned beaches. I'm on the Eden Estuary Local Nature Reserve Advisor Group, which looks after the wildlife on the estuary. And my main focus is reducing our usage of plastics. So I would like to get rid of straws in the Union for a start. And that's something I know that we'll be trialling, we have done, is to get paper straws in. So we'll get rid of some plastics, and then we have to speak to our suppliers and encourage them to make more use of biodegradable plastics. But this is something I want to push forward, and times are changing now on plastics, such as microbeads have been banned, for example. I think there's a real shift that's coming in that area, and we need to be at the forefront of that. And of course we've got great potential coming up now on the environment with the new Eden campus, so that we'll become carbon neutral as a university.
Right. Thank you very much, Councillor Nolan. That's unfortunately all we have time for. So
thank you very much.
Thank you very much for watching.